What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Lore Reloaded. Always a pleasure to see you here. Definitely let me know if the background noise is way too much, because I
Always a pleasure.
can turn it down. And yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what we'll be talking about today. You know, we're gonna we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna get back into it. What's going on, Ethan Nelson? Hope you're doing well. It's Lore Reloaded After Dark. Welcome to Lore Reloaded After Dark, where we give you the greatest times you ever did see. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I thought I'd hang out, see what you guys are trying to do this more. I don't know how to keep you entertained. That's my problem. Do some stuff on Battlestar Galactica? Well, I have done stuff on Battlestar Galactica, sir. Ethan Nelson, if that is even your real name. I have done like 20 videos on it. So I don't know what you want. I could do the video by Certifiably in Game and try to start a fight with them. That could be fun. Rowan G. Coleman apparently says that there were canceled Star Trek projects. I'm guessing that's from the past, since he's showing one Harry Mudd. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with you guys. Can't really do anything with you guys. Can't take you people anywhere. Just like at all. What's going on, Yum Yum Podcast? Hope you're doing good. Let's talk about the Q. What about the Q you want to talk about? How do we poke that cherry? What about the Q interests you specifically? Is there anything about the Q that we haven't talked about yet? Anywhere to go with it, if you will? Because I think we've said almost everything we can. Apparently, Steve Shives did an interesting in defense of shipping, or are Kirk and Spock gay, or what? That could be interesting, I think. The pandemic vaccine, COVID Q. There's a COVID Q vaccine, because that's interesting. Their biology and relative species, we don't really know enough about them to break down anything, honestly. We can't even be sure if the Q look the way that they present themselves, because they're presenting themselves in a way that humans would understand. Steve does still make videos, indeed. And, let's see. Not only does he still make videos, but, oh wow. On average, I may do better on my videos than he does now. That's weird. I really actually, I like Steve Shives. I think at the core, Steve Shives is a good guy. He just has some pretty bad philosophies. Which is ironic, because I'd agree with a lot of his liberal takes, probably. How would I kill a Q who has the type of power level in Star Trek? I'd kill a Q using the Q weapons from Star Trek Voyager. Beyond that, I'm not sure it's within my power to kill a Q. If anyone could kill a Q, it would probably be... Well, if Trelane's not a Q, he might have the ability. I don't think the Prophets would. I don't think the Prophets are as powerful as the Q, if I be honest. I know there are really powerful species, though. Who do you think would kill a Q? Michael Anurhada Kafu? That's right. I can say your last name. Don't act surprised. The only reason I think the Borg could defeat the Q is probably because they assimilated the El-Orians. Beyond that, I don't think they have the capability. But by assimilating the El-Orians, they probably did. I haven't seen anything from Steve in over a decade. Okay, well, that makes two of us. I've been crafting a Star Trek story centered around the Federation exploring the Andromeda Galaxy. How big do you think a ship would need to be to accomplish such a task? I don't think that you would need to make a ship big enough. I think you're doing it wrong, especially when dealing with Starfleet. If Starfleet was going to build a long-range vessel, they might make it bigger than, like, the Intrepid. That said, They'd probably make it sleeker, but as big as maybe a Galaxy class. But beyond that, they would use technology. They would create technology that could do like replicators, do energy more. They'd work smarter, not harder. Everett Johnson helping out the channel. You guys do not know how much that helps out. It is beyond just so helpful. How often do you hear people bring up the 25% difference, even though it's been debunked years ago? If I could talk. I haven't heard it in a while, actually. That's the first time you brought it up. About 3 to 6 months ago, I'd still hear it. Ever so often you have an idiot, but because bigger YouTubers who make their money off of hate haven't brought it up. I don't think that I'm going to see it all that much. The real issue is making it last the trip. Yeah, I think that they'd work on technology. Death Wish is still one of our favorite Q episodes. Okay. It's an interesting episode, I would say. I like how it inspires the John Delancey Q. It's sad that stories about the future are always so constrained with relationships. Straight, gay, married, single, what would it matter in a world with unlimited resources to provide for children? I mean, a part of writing media is connecting with the people that you're writing it for, and since relationships play a big role, since we're a social species, you're going to have to write towards that. I also think it is plausible that you still have monogamous relationships. That said, I kind of agree with you in that what we've seen in the original series and the Next Generation, that monogamy probably would be a lot less than what we see. I think that that's a construct because of the society of who they're writing it for. I think they'd probably be more polyamorous. I'd agree with that. What's the best intro to Star Trek? Me, I was shown Star Trek First Contact and I was hooked. When you say intro, do you mean like the best teaser, or do you mean like a actual intro, like TNG's intro or DS9's intro? Never really been a huge fan of intros. They don't do a lot for me when it comes to the creation of the title cards and everything like that. I would say that the one I don't like is Enterprise. If you're talking about like what's a good teaser, what's a good start to a movie, First Contact was maybe First Contact did it well, I guess, because you see Picard being assimilated and everything, and then he wakes up. Gets a little slow after that, though. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. My starship, the USS Andromeda, would be equipped with dozens of industrial-level replicators and other facilities. That would be absolutely massive. I think your ship would be too big, too bulky. It would make it open to attack. Laura has no faith of the... I have faith of the heart, good sir. Sir, if that is even your real name. And I don't believe your real name is Sir. I believe it not. I also had an idea that by the time the replicator tech is advanced to such a degree that things like dilithium and other materials can be synthesized. See, the problem is that when you write stories like that, it's pretty hard to make them interesting. People, when they think about Star Trek or when they think about science fiction, that they have to make it like super advanced and really easy and all this cool stuff. But adversity generally is what pushes a plot theory. So something so advanced that you can make dilithium, just synthesize dilithium, I don't know, it takes away from it. As an example, when you look at the writers for TNG, the behind the scenes, they constantly were trying to find ways to break the ship, because they had created such an advanced technological marvel that any issue that they brought up didn't make sense. they constantly had to come up with reasons why a replicator couldn't make medicine, why transporters wouldn't work, when if they didn't have them, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. How did the Borg beat the Elorians, who somehow dealt with the Q? Were the Q at one point biological? Yeah, it's likely the Q were biological. There's a lot of evidence for that, but we don't know how the Elorians could defeat the Q, if they could. And on top of that, just because race A can beat race B, and race B can beat race C, doesn't mean race C can't beat race A, right? It's like paper, rock, scissors. Just because one can beat the other, and the third can beat the middle one, doesn't mean that they can't go back and forth. Bashir's candy bar ration is being worked on right now. Another item on the list of Trek to reality. Yes, but is it done, and will it be done? I'm trying to justify how any starship could survive the journey between galaxies, given the Andromeda is millions of light years away, even at maximum warp. So, I mean, you could use what they already have. You could create slipstream technology, which would make it a lot easier. Would make forever in 2 years, most likely. And I mean, I would refine the replicator technology, like you said, but I don't know that I would make it so powerful that it just could synthesize anything. You know, I would keep some of that there. If you're taking random questions from Trek, would you believe changelings originated from fluidic space? I mean, that's Jason Gardner. This is what I usually do, man. I usually talk to you guys. I mean, I was going to bring up some videos so that we could critique them, but I try to have a back and forth conversation. I don't think they come from fluidic space. They said they were solids beforehand. I imagine that they were there before. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't think there's any evidence for it. I'd be curious how you tried to tie it together, though. The Borg also may not be able to assimilate the Q or be able to figure out how to beat them, since they struggle with races like Species A4. Again, it's like paper, rock, scissors. Just because they can defeat one or can't defeat one doesn't mean they can or can't defeat the other, you know? As an example, the Borg curb stop humanity. Like, literally destroy humanity. And yet humanity figured out how to kill all of species A472. So, yeah. So in theory, the Borg can defeat humanity. Humanity can't defeat the Borg, but can defeat species A472. Was Q opposing, antagonizing the Borg out of fear they'd beat them, or just cause a mess they'd have to clean up? We never know. I prefer to think that the Q have an innate fear of the Borg, because they see the Borg as like an evil empire that they possibly can't defeat, and so they try to stay away from that. Personally, that's what I see. Will we ever get a story of how the Borg came into existence? I don't know. I kind of hope not. I'll be honest with you. I think the more we know about the Borg, the less interesting they are. I think that they'd still be more of a fan favorite if Voyager hadn't done what they did. In fact, I almost think that if Voyager hadn't done anything with the Borg, and we looked at Discovery's work with the Borg, that the Borg would still be pretty interesting. Because regardless of everything that Discovery did, and they did make some issues, I think they still kept them mysterious enough. What's going on, Vile? There was a video game that had a non-canon origin story, and it was better for it not being canon. Are you talking about the where they were from V'ger? That V'ger created them? Can Paramount damage the legacy of Q in Season 2 of Picard? Is that an immature attitude to carry, since classic Trek will always exist? I would say that it is somewhat of an immature attitude. Because I don't think they can destroy your childhood. They can fundamentally change the Q. They can make the Q something that you don't like. But only really you have the ability to damage the queue. Like, I've said this before, and I know some people get upset at me about it, and it is what it is. But if I didn't do this for a living, I probably wouldn't have watched all of Star Trek Discovery, and probably would have stopped watching Picard, and just been okay with what I had watched. Which is a shame, because I think Discovery Season 3 is picking it back up. I'm hoping Picard Season 2 does the same. Lower Decks is just, like, awesome. It's one of my favorite. I'm sure no matter what's going to happen in Season 2 of Picard, people are going to hate. I can already tell you that I could, after watching an episode, could do a beat-for-beat Fandom Menace channel recreation without ever seeing what they saw. That's right. Hit that like button. It's more scared of you than you are of it. How do you feel about the Borg episode of Enterprise? It was unnecessary, but I didn't think it was too... It was fine. I don't think it broke too much. It is somewhat plausible, but them not knowing about it in the future, I would have rewritten it a little bit so that them not knowing it in the future makes more sense. I also had a thought that perhaps Starfleet was a wormhole to Andromeda that only opens once every 50 years or so they decide to take a leap of faith and send a ship over. Wormholes generally aren't predictable, so I would find a reason for that one to be predictable. I would almost have it be a long-range explorer ship that maybe was meant to explore for, say, a decade or two, and then have them find the wormhole and get stuck. But I'd Voyager it if I was going to do that. Laura, can we get you a softbox? What's a softbox? Let me look that up. Softbox. No, I should know that. I have like 6 of them. I have 6 softboxes. I actually have a ton. Why the hell did I know what a softbox was? Jesus Christ, I have a bachelor's. Yeah, but part of it is I just haven't gotten the right kind of thing, because if you look... That's part of the reason why I don't have a thing behind it. I'm well aware of how lighting works, though. But I tell you what, if you want to give me... here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do for you. All you have to do is donate for the low, low price of $22.58 plus shipping, plus overnight, which would be an additional $2.99, and I'll put up one of my soft boxes tomorrow. Tomorrow. Actually, and I'll say this, I don't use soft boxes. I don't like soft boxes. Go LED. Go LED, use newer LEDs. You can actually have filters put in front of them, works just like a softbox. It will last longer. It gives you all kinds of dynamic range of light, which a softbox may or may not be able to do, and it is not that cumbersome. Are there mining ships in Star Trek? Are cargo ships modified to serve as mining ships? There are. We don't see a lot of them, but there indeed are. We see a couple in the original series. I think we see some in Deep Space Nine. I think. Somebody thinks I'm wearing yellow. I'm not. The Kelvins modified the Enterprise in the original series to go galaxy hopping. How was that knowledge not retained into the ship's computers? The Kelvins modified the Enterprise. Which episode was that? Will we ever get our childhood Star Trek back? So I talk about this in the... original, in the last video I did, like, is it dark or whatever. So, Mike, if you are 21 or you are in your 30s or, God forbid, 40s, the person you were is literally dead. There is literally no cell in your body that exists by this point. And so the person who watched and observed is a memory of a memory of a memory. It's a memory engram that has been copied across the ages. And there is no way that you would be able to watch the original Trek and feel the way you did, because there's no way for you to be that person. So, young you, the you that watched the original series as a kid, has been dead for a long, long time. And unfortunately, it just can't come back. And I mean, that's not me. I honestly, I'm not trying to be morbid or dark or anything. It's just the way it is. It's the truth. 50s, yo. Didn't one of the crewmen on Enterprise have family that lived on a mining ship? They did. They did, didn't they? No, he owned a mining company, I think. Without the Borg or the Dominion, who would be the greatest threat to the Federation be? I'd say Romulans. Now, some might argue Klingons, but for me, it would be Romulans. By any other name is the episode? They don't have any information by any other name, and Memory Alpha doesn't have information on something? I've never seen that before. Who wins, the Kalons versus the Borg? I'm going to go with Borg, probably? Yeah, definitively the Borg. The Borg would beat the living hell out of the Kalons. I think people tend to romanticize old Star Trek. There's good and bad and all this. So here's my thing. I mean, this is, as you said, getting philosophical. But that's the problem with nostalgia. Because all nostalgia is remembering back to a time, generally, is remembering back to a time that when that memory was created doesn't like exist, right? Like one of the things, and again, if this is getting too deep and you guys want to talk about something else, we can. If you can, like, after I got divorced, I for a while I had to remind myself that the relationship I had been in while married was nostalgia. It was romanticized. It wasn't what it was. It was a rewriting of history. And I truly believe that happens with the Next Generation as well. Or with anything, with the original Star Trek, or really anything that you're doing. Like, for me, the realization that this world is absolutely despicable and we all hate each other and we're all tribal, it didn't feel that way when I was a kid. But I remember my dad saying stuff that kind of makes me believe it was that way. Like he could see how the world actually was. But as a kid, I didn't see it. Who wins between the Cylons and the Borg? I don't think the Borg would be interested in the Cylons. And the Cylons, they don't really have good ships, do they? Good starships? They say memories change every time you recall it. The original doesn't really exist anymore in the true sense. I have heard that. I have heard that a lot of people like to think that memory is like a filing system, when really your memory is like a Wikipedia. You go back and you look through the information, and maybe you get something wrong the last time you looked, but it's been replaced, and now you're going to think it's true. That was something that, as a Christian, worried the ever-living hell out of me as a kid. That I would be telling a lie that I thought was true, and I was going to go to hell for it. Of all the things to worry about in Christianity. Does anyone know how old Laura is? Why are you asking? So why are you asking, Tony? Why you what do you want to know? You tell me why you want to know how old I am, and maybe I'll tell you how old I am. I did see the dinosaurs. That's true. It was there. It's just that there's too much drama on Discovery. Michael cries almost every episode. It's too much. I think that's overblown, first off. I don't think she cries too much. And that's one of the things. It's like, I don't know why we're randomly picking out an aspect we just don't like. Cisco yells a lot. Every other episode, he was yelling at somebody. Jadzia didn't find a lap she didn't love bouncing on, and that was almost every episode. Troy was one of the most incompetent counselors that existed. I mean, we're just choosing the trait we don't like. Who wins? Rational arguments using evidence and facts, or impassioned, righteous testimony using complaints and insults? The second one wins. And I can tell you, compare my channel to like that of Nerdrotica. I think that's his name. Or Doomcock. Well, I don't mind about the age. I just want to know the generation of TV was around when you were a teen. I didn't really watch a lot of TV when I was a teenager. I watched a lot of TV as a kid. And I am currently the ripe old age of 36. I was born in '88, so I romanticized the '90s and early 2000s. Nice. What was the largest... Oh, you asked that before. What is the largest object ever replicated? I mean, they have industrial replicators. So, I mean, entire buildings are replicated, or at least huge, massive parts of buildings. If you were born in '88, I'm not around your age now. No, you'd have no idea how much 4 years do. 4 years is like forever. I'm a young one, my ass, please. I'm closer to 70 than I am when I was born. Math sucks. I hate everything about math. It's horrific. I don't know why people would ever engage in it. Jedzi is the perfect example of what future relationships should be like. I don't know about all that. I think she should be okay and people should be okay with it, but I don't know if she's the perfect example. On DS9, there were issues with farmers not returning large-scale replicators. Obviously, this tech would have scaled something in your garage. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could replicate entire, like, yields. So, yeah, I mean, they get pretty big. I've already been in my midlife crisis. One of the worst things to have, one of the worst things to be in a midlife crisis, by the way, is... an atheist. Because just think of non-existence. Like, literally, you're gone, and you're just gone, and that's it. It's all over. It's like the world will continue going on, and just nothing exists. That is just a horrible thought. John Morgan, I haven't caught a live stream in a while, but I just wanted to assure you that I'm almost always watching your videos while I am door dashing 20 plus hours a week. Well, thank you not only for watching my stuff, but for your service. I am putting DoorDash executives' kids through school. So there is that. You said something last night that killed me and my wife. Someone donated some scratch and then asked you about who watches The Watchers. They like the episode and say it's my least favorite. It is one of my least favorite episodes. I mean, if you're gonna... part of Lore Reloaded is just me being honest. I don't like it because Picard is the worst kind of atheist. He really is. It's the only aspect of his character I hate. Picard is a horrible atheist. He puts down and looks down on religious people and has literally replaced religion with another type of religion, with another thing, another deity. I would use Picard. If I was still a Christian, Picard would probably be my example. I would say that Picard's exaggerated, but I would say that Picard is what an atheist is. That they get rid of one god to replace it with another. He is absolutely, it is one of the most disappointing parts of his character. But, you know. We were in the same position before we were born, Laura. It was not frightening then. Why would it be frightening after you die? Because I'm aware of it now. Because I am aware of it now. The Prime Directive is his God. I am absolutely 100% aware of it. Like, and this is honest to God truth. For me, like, I'm fine. I'm not Like, this doesn't keep me up at night or anything. But if you were to ask me, if I had a choice, I would rather not be aware of my own existence. You know, I would rather not be aware of the fact that my existence stops if I had a choice. But obviously I don't. I mean, again, this stuff doesn't keep me up at night. I'm not like losing like years off of my life over it. It's just something, it's just a truth. It's just something that I think is most likely true that is unfortunate. You know, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. I don't like the fact that I live in a world that I'm not a millionaire. But I mean, here we are. Didn't they say that some of the kit bash ships in DS9 were results of using stored industrial replication patterns? I don't think they ever said that, but that would be interesting if they did. I'd need to know the episode. Bills keep me up. Well, bills and kids keep me up mostly. Yeah, I would say they can replicate whole ship sections. They probably do. But I won't be aware when I'm dead. That is good, right? Well, yeah, I mean, once I'm dead, it doesn't matter anymore. It's gone. I don't have to worry about it at all. In fact, one of the saddest things is that if atheists are right, Christians, like truly believing Christians, will never know. And, you know, the more I think about it, I wonder if that's a bad thing. Like, you go through your entire life believing that there's an afterlife. You die, nothing exists, but at least you lived your life. I guess that's that, I don't know. I mean, ignorance is bliss, but I still prefer to know, yeah, no. That's a bad stance to have, actually, the more I think about it. Because that's that exact argument. I just had a conversation with myself. That was interesting. Space Talk references it in a few of his videos, especially when mentioning the Jaeger class. I'd have to go and see, because I've never heard that. Picard has literally had a post-death, near-death experience in which Q showed him the tapestry of his life, and he's still an atheist. Well, sure, because Q is not a god. Q, I mean, arguably, I'm not even sure that Picard died. Yeah, it's Pascal's wager. I just had Pascal's wager in my mind for a second. Your Picard issue, I thought, was actually handled really well in the Babylon 5 with Dr. Franklin in the episode Believers. Yes and no. I really liked Dr. Franklin until I found out he was a traitor to his people. There is some dialogue outside of Believers that I think is weird, but overall, I think that's a solid episode. And if they had stayed solidly like that, I would have liked them. You know what's scarier than death of oneself? Entropy, the death of all things, time and matter. I can come to terms with my own death. Heat death of the universe scares. Yeah, it's weird too, isn't it? Because, I mean, eventually we'll all stop existing and nothing happens, right? It's just literally nothing. It's not blackness, it's nothing. And then time keeps going until everything is destroyed due to whatever catastrophe. There's a good chance that we'll never get off this rock, that humanity, once the sun goes, everything dies, and nothing that we have done on this earth will matter, because this earth won't exist. See, I prefer not to be able to think about this and work my way through it. It's not, I don't like having this knowledge. It's just annoying. I'd love to see a friendly, spirited debate on whether or not the Q should stand as disproof for atheism purely in the confines of the fictional Star Trek universe. I don't think Q proves or disproves whether a god or gods exist as defined in Western culture. I think that the existence of Q, the existence of Trelane, is why atheism exists, but I don't think so. We are never truly gone because matter can't be destroyed. It is only recreated. In our current state, we will never exist again. The consciousness, the you that makes you, is gone. Now, it'll be reassembled. I mean, I'm sure I'm reassembled as millions upon millions of different people. but I don't have any of their information. I don't remember them. I don't know who they were. You know what the original series Enterprise could locate people by heartbeats in the episode Court Martial and in the TNG episode Remember Me. So why all the fuss when people take off comm badges? Because you can't identify which or who they are. Comm badges specifically identify who the person is, and without that, it would be hard to identify between all the heartbeats who it is. In theory, you could probably reverse engineer it and overlay comm badges with heartbeats and find the heartbeat that doesn't exist or that doesn't have a comm badge. But even then, I would say continuity issues is nothing new. The Drake equation predicts that other life forms out there, so just because Earth eventually dies doesn't mean all life dies. Well, that's sure, but what I care about is human life. But that's cool that other life exists. Well, screw you two for shooting down Mama Bradford. I don't even know who Mama Bradford is. We're a mortal vessel, but we are a perfect immortal dream. Okay. Again, it's just sad, and I just don't. Again, for instance, Mormons once approached me, and they're like, "Hey, as a spirit, you chose to be on Earth." That almost single-handedly disproved Mormonism for me, because if I am who I am in spirit heaven, if I'm the same person, there's no way I'm coming down. I'm not giving up a good thing. I'm not giving up a good thing to go through something I wouldn't. My mama, you bearded man who loves us. I love all of you. Could one changeling destroy an entire Borg cube by himself? No. There's a good chance one changeling could be assimilated. Do I think the wormhole gods are older than the Q continuum? Yes and no, since they don't exist in linear time. I like the idea that the Q are like an extra-dimensional federation made up of all the godlike beings seen in Trek. I think they're kind of like Time Lords. Honestly, I'd be interested to see how the Q interact with a federation that has the ability to traverse time. A federation that can traverse time could be somewhat on par with the Q. I definitely didn't choose her. Man, it's like, alright, look, you're in spirit heaven. It's pretty good up here. You could go to a better place, but we're going to send you to Earth first. You're going to forget everything. You're going to have to go through there. Hope that you're smart enough to figure out that Mormonism is what it is so that you can get to the third heaven. And at that point, you'll then be able to have a great time. Now I'm good with the good thing. I'll take the good thing. Why are so many STO ships phallic? Probably because you touch yourself at night, if I had to guess. I'm not sure. But if that's where my money would be. How can Q be a Time Lord when he doesn't have a screwdriver? They're like Time Lords. They're, because the Time Lords, are temporal powers. So that's what I'm saying. They're like them. He took Picard back to before life formed on Earth during All Good Thing. I mean, he said he did. Do we know he really did? But, I mean, beyond that, why? What are you trying to say, John? I don't understand. I'm sorry. Q also has the ability to traverse time and does it at will. Well, I mean, we don't know. He could be using technology just like the Federation uses technology. He has to do an action in order to facilitate it. Why would he have to do an action? Is it biological? What's the point of using the comm badges to track people on board a ship? Logically, every crew member would receive an implant the size of a grain of sand the day they reported on board. No, they wouldn't. That would be an attack on their autonomy, good sir, and we don't do that. We don't do that, sir. Sometimes I think about yelling, "That's not the boss, that's a changeling," then start throwing punches at the person in question. But I never actually do so. Well, Jeffrey, you're weak. You're weak. You just need to do it. Just go for it. Just punch them. You'll be fine. Do I like the 7 of 9 character? I mean, yeah. She's not my favorite, but she's alright. Voyager 7 of 9 was intriguing. I'm not a huge fan of what they did to her in Picard because I feel it's unearned. We really needed to see background of her turning into the person she did. And the ending was probably one of the worst decisions the producer ever made. Did Q really take Picard back to his academy days, or was it just an illusion? See, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if he did take him back there or not. Thanks to Fox Mulder here for marinating my mind in some Section 31. Section 31 level paranoia about the Trill. I mean, the Trill have a lot of weird stuff going on. And the fact that no one questions it, I mean, it's classic Trek. They do that all the time. But I don't know why it was never questioned. Have I spoken about the fan fiction part? I personally have no issue with it. I don't know what fan fiction part you're talking about, unless you're talking about literal fan fiction, and not something that happened in the Star Trek episodes. I'm sure they'll expand on her past either in her own show or Picard season 2. Nah, they're not going to do that. Nah. Neilman Wildwing would be disappointed in 7 of 9. Maybe. Lore could be Section 31 and not know it. It would be it would sort of make sense. I mean, I guess it's possible that I was brainwashed and sent back in time to prevent something from happening, I suppose. I can't prove that it didn't happen. That's true. Does this look yellow to you guys? Because a really attractive woman says that this is yellow, but it's not yellow. There's no way. It doesn't look yellow at all. Not even in the picture. On the topic of Trill videos, it's also pretty interesting to note that in an episode of Voyager, B'Elanna was attacked by a parasite creature that used her body to survive. Yeah, it's definitely orange. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. Yeah, I remember that one. Like it was this huge bug-like creature. That's orange. Even in the picture. Nah, I can't show you guys because I'm scared I'll show the number. It's orange. Ping Wings helping out the channel. Hey mate, forgot to mention with One Who Watches the Watchers, it's also a critique of explorers and the in-real consequences of interactions with less developed cultures and how it can alter them. One example is the cargo cults. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I don't like Who Watch... By the way, thanks so much, and I need to go back and look at the last one you did, too. The reason why I don't like Who Watches the Watchers is... oh, that's clever how that guy did that. The reason why I don't like Who Watches the Watchers is because of Picard and how it makes him the worst kind of atheist. We actually talked about this. That said, when looking at the other stuff, I think it could be interesting. I think that I see where you're coming from. I can see how someone who especially enjoys that kind of that stuff or has a degree in that stuff would really, really get into that. Give me a sec. I'm going back because I actually stopped. I turned off the video and you gave a super chat at that point, and I wasn't able to answer it. Where's the super chats? Why is this being stupid? P-Wing, hi there. To answer your question on the religion, why can't I expand this? Oh my god, why would they make this so difficult? Why? Here we go. So P-Wing asked this last time too. Hi there. To answer your question on religion, I do agree in part it was overly simplistic in its approach in the technologically, evolutionary, and philosophical sense, but it highlights the more problematic aspects of religion. My problem, by the way, again, thank you so much for the support. Quasar Productions in the house. Y'all should check them out too. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. there are ways to be critical of religion and still be still be respectful and still understand that you could be wrong. So, for instance, the assumption, missing our super chats keeps Laura up at night. It does. The assumption that religion, that you're delving and pushing someone back into the Dark Ages, and it's a horrible thing to be religious, and that you're better because he presents himself as better for not believing it. That is a very negative quality to have for a few reasons. First off, shutting down your mind and assuming that all religion is just superstition and mythos, and that people who do it are just idiots, and you're not going to put them back in the idiotic age. There's a chance that there is a God that exists out there, that there is a religion that's correct. I don't believe so, but it is possible. So, being an atheist that absolutely shuts it down just makes you as dogmatic as a religious person. Now, that's bad enough. But you then couple that with, again, the argument that he is also replaced religion with basically another religion, and he has, then it makes him just as bad. And someone who comes to the... So I'm an atheist, as I said. I don't make any qualms about that. I think atheism, or I honestly think a lack of belief in gods or gods is probably the accurate choice right now, based on what we have. But someone who would come to that decision based on bad information is still making a bad decision. Even if you choose the right choice, but you get there in a bad way, you've still done something wrong. And so he's still doing it wrong. Now, we're talking about a cargo cult. Moving on, a cargo cult is a indigenous millenarian belief system in which adherents perform rituals which they believe will cause a more technologically advanced society to deliver goods. That's interesting. So, Saru's species was that. I wouldn't say... No, I would disagree with you, Kyle. Religion is unfalsifiable and therefore meaningless. Religion isn't meaningless. It has been an integral part of human society for a very, very long time. If everyone stopped believing in a god or gods tomorrow, the existence of religion, the belief, the examination of religion, looking at its impacts on society is still very, very important. And I think there are things to take from religion. I think just because you stop being religious doesn't mean there aren't things that you can take from it. Yeah, John Morgan's got it right. The first duty of every Starfleet officer is to uphold the Prime Directive. Also Picard. Is that a fucking theistic society? I'll tell you, it's my personal belief right now that if a god or gods exist, that it has to be a personal experience. Like, that god has to directly link with you. I don't think you can get there. I'm basically an atheist Calvinist. I don't think you can get there without a direct connection. We'd still have the same ups and downs. Yeah, I don't think we'd. We just find other ways. I mean, look at what atheists do now on the internet. You had, like, the skeptics. You had the amazing atheist. You had Chris Reagan. You had all these other atheists. And what was it called? Something plus? Atheism plus or whatever. Just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you don't find a way. You don't find a way to subdivide yourself. We always do. It's what we do. It's humanity. There was a Voyager episode that dealt with it much better than Who Watches What. Let me say this, and this blows people's minds. Janeway is probably the best atheist in Star Trek. Janeway is the best representation of what an atheist should be in Star Trek, in my opinion. Kira is the best representation of what a religious person should be. And I think if you want to see her atheism, if you want to see good, like solid ways of being an atheist, watch Sacred Ground. Well, I would suggest watching Sacred Ground, as I said, Donovan. But in that episode, she talks about how when she looks at religion, she's respectful of what people believe. She doesn't denigrate them for what they believe. And she tries to understand why they believe what they believe, but she looks at it from a scientific aspect. And she is open to being wrong about her atheism. An atheist should be someone who doesn't promote their ensign despite them giving their life for the ship multiple times. I don't think her atheism impacts that. In fact, Matthew, I know you're making a joke, but in all seriousness, I think that's the problem with our society. Sometimes that it's like, oh look, this person did it and they're a Christian. Well, that must be why, because they're Christian or they're atheist or whatever. Kira is basically a Bajoran Catholic. I would disagree with that, honestly. Not many Catholics I know are as open to other religions or other gods or accepting that multiple gods might exist. I mean, maybe you're right. For me, I don't think so. There seems to be a spiritual element in Star Trek. In the original series, they were open. In the original series, you had religious people, but if you look at the writing and you break it down, I really think the writers were attacking religion in the plots, but you had characters that promoted religion. TNG completely destroyed that, and that's only because Season 1, Season 2, Gene Roddenberry had control, and he hated religion, and he wanted to make sure that no one in the Federation or Starfleet had religion, and so he did that, and that's been a constant ever since. I know DS9 kind of pulled that back, but even in DS9, Starfleet officers, especially humans, were generally non-religious. In fact, it made them uncomfortable. When Sisko was becoming religious, it made them uncomfortable. I kind of wonder if the Season 8 rewrite is an overcompensation for what Ira did in DS9. Kira is an Episcopalian, basically Catholic light. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I've never been Episcopalian. I can't speak to that. Gene Roddenberry would have hated DS9? He would have. I think that. I believe. It really surprised me when people were like, "Oh, it's DS9's not against Gene's vision." Oh my God, it is so against Gene's vision in every way. In every way. Destiny B, can I ask if your religion yourself, if your religious self? I've actually answered. I've actually talked about that. I'm not. I'm an atheist. Used to be religious. I was religious for well over 20 years and got several credits from Free Will Baptist College. Religious, atheist, it's all just human tribalism, us versus them. I would agree. Humans are tribalistic by nature. I was even saying that. Uh, I if everybody turned atheist tomorrow, we would just find reasons not to like each other based on other random stuff. Talk to you later, Vile. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Love you, Vile. I was raised Episcopalian. How often do I talk to you? Did I say I don't talk to Episcopalian? I wasn't raised Episcopalian. Or maybe I said I don't know many Episcopalian. I don't know. As much as I love Gene for bringing Star Trek into life, let's not forget that Gene also won the Ferengi Award. No, that's not even the worst of his sins. Gene had a lot of very, 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 very bad ideas. A lot of them that were very bad ideas. Cardassians are clearly Nazi inspired. Can you walk me through that? Gene would have hated Sisko being emissary. He would have hated a lot about DS9. I mean, he would have fought DS9 tooth and nail. He wanted to fight Wrath of Khan. He also wanted to fight Undiscovered Country. I tried watching your BattleTech lore videos, and I wonder how deep you got into the lore, books, etc. What do you mean, how deep did I get in there? Is that, like, are you saying I didn't really do a good job, or just curious how much research I did? I didn't... So I have read BattleTech books, but it's to read all of them in enough time to get stuff out would be nearly impossible. I watch other videos on the topics. I look at Wikipedias, and I try to find books with excerpts, but I don't, you know. I thought Gene died by Star Trek 6. Maybe. I'm not sure what's that in reference to. What was Star Trek 6? You don't instantly know what Star Trek 6 is? Yeah, even if he died before it completely came out, he got into fights over Undiscovered Country. I think he died after it. But even if he died before it was completely done, he fought it tooth and nail. He did not like Kirk being racist. He hated that. Well, he died in 1991. That's fantastic. Undiscovered Country came out in 1991 as well. I wasn't saying they're not Nazis. I was curious why you thought they were. They may be. He fought Undiscovered Country, but I thought he was dead. He may have been dead by the time Undiscovered Country came out, but there's a lot of planning. It takes like years to make movies and stuff. One of the most well-known writers, the writer of Undiscovered Country, talked about how literally they screamed at each other while putting this together, and that he kind of regrets getting into that kind of fight with Gene. He won, but... Cardassian spelled backwards is Germany. True facts. It's true. It is. That is how you spell Germany. In fact, the Nazi Socialist Party spelled backwards is European Union. That's also another fact. That's going to get clipped. Watch. That's going to be on Reddit. Guaranteed. That's going to be on Reddit, and people on Twitter are going to be so pissed off. Thought the Cardassians reminded me of the KGB. They're whatever, maybe. I know Nimoy and Kuhn were the brainchild behind Undiscovered. Nimoy had a lot? I didn't know that. It's always interesting to hear different takes for things you just take as a given, like Goldacott being an obvious Nazi war criminal stand-in. Indeed. They didn't like it when we used tanks, so we tried banks. That is honest to God. Oh, man. I'm just saying, Hitler would be proud of Germany's power base today. Maybe not proud of their policies, but man, Germany is like a European Union powerhouse. The Cardassians were just standard fascist bad guys for the heroes to fight. You know, I'm not against. Maybe they are Nazis. Maybe that's exactly what they were meant to be. I mean, it makes sense. They had the internment camps. They had the Japanese and German style assaults of women. I'm not disagreeing. I just was curious where you were going with it. Janeway is a war criminal that rewrote at least a decade of timeline. Yeah, Janeway and Cisco are war criminals. I also can't help but think of Nazis and Cardassians with the Voyager episode with the Doctor struggling on whether to use the medical research. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. The thing that confuses me is that Deep Space Nine is knowing the Cardassians. Why didn't they destroy DS9? You know, Lore Runner had a really good really good analysis on why the Cardassians pulled out of Bajor, and I think a lot of that probably had to do with Federation public relations and Federation politics really pressing down hard on the Cardassians, and probably ceding some land for them to move out of Bajor. And part of that is probably why they didn't destroy Deep Space Nine. No shade, but they could also be American. Who could be American? The Cardassians? I would really need some good evidence of them being, of the Americans being Cardassians. I mean, you got to stretch way, way back for that one. Funny how the Time Cops didn't stop Janeway. I have always said that the Time Cops are pro Starfleet and really only get in the way if it is a detriment to Starfleet, not if it helps them out. Didn't they have slave workers on the station and they finally overpowered? No. The Maquis never took back Deep Space Nine. They made it very, very difficult for Cardassians to do anything. And so, to add on to that, it would be the Maquis plus the Federation. But I don't think that... They never took the station. The Bajorans... Well, I mean, the Maquis are... No, the Maquis aren't the Bajorans. I'm sorry. You're right, I'm a little tired. I apologize. The Bajoran Resistance. No, they didn't overthrow him. When I said Maquis, I meant Bajoran Resistance. What actors today would make for a convincing Picard in his 20s? Need to visualize for my story. James McAvoy. I'm not the first one to do that joke, by the way. That joke was in yesterday. I watched Rightful Heir for the first time in a long time, and that's not the clone of Kahless. He is Kahless. History is written by the victors and used to hide the truth. Okay. Talk to you later, J Swan. Thanks for coming by. Oh, J Swan, do me a favor if you're still here. Go ahead and say something. Deep Space Nine, I think you meant Tarek Noir. Ho ho! The pedanticism, folks. The pedanticism. The difference without a distinction. Alright, have a good night, Jace1. I always took Cardassia as an allegory for early British colonialism, invading other words. I don't think that the Cardassians can really be compared to the British or to America. I think there are aspects of them, possibly, because by God, the United Kingdom and Americans have done a lot of bad things. Just a lot of bad things. But I don't think they're comparable to Cardassians. Or to what the Cardassians are. Yeah, I just don't. Can we talk about Kira's mother? We could, if you want to. What about her mother and that episode? The Terran slaves retook Terran Nor in the Myriad. Oh, yeah, but the Bajorans never took back Deep Space Nine. If I had to compare every major Star Trek power to a modern country, who would they be? I don't think Starfleet has a comparable power. I know it's like meant to be like the United States or Western powers. I don't think they're comparable. I don't. Man, they all wear hats. They're all so not diverse, and nations are. I think Cardassians would probably be like the Nazis. I could see that. I think Klingons are reformed Nazis, but maybe Klingons would be Germany. If I had to TNG Klingons. So if we go all the way up to TNG, I'd make them Germany, with Germany's complete history. Romulans would probably be Russians. I think that's probably a good stand-in for the Russians. Pakleds would most likely be the French. Definitely. I don't know. I'd have to think. I almost want to say that I was almost going to say Ferengi are like China, but no, I don't think so. I think the Ferengi are actually more moral than the Chinese. I'd have to think about that. Yeah, I could see them as Japan. Klingons as Japan as well. And no, Andorians will actually fight. Andorians don't back down from a fight. They don't run. They know how to conduct war. There's no way that they would be anything like the French. You thought, I don't think the Romulans are like China. I really don't. I think they're more like the Russians. The Russians really are behind your back sneaky. Telling me not to yawn makes me yawn, by the way. I understand the Star Trek races are allegories for facets of human personality. Indeed. I think they are facets of human personality, but I don't think they were meant to be like that. We're talking about Star Trek AUs, alternate universes, I guess, because I've been working on one for some time. I don't think we're just talking about who they remind us of. I always took the original series Klingons to riff off the Mongolians. Who's the British then? I'd have to think about that. Vulcans. I would say the British are the Vulcans. Formerly the most heavy hitter power that guided history for quite a while, and still arguably does to a lesser degree, that has greatly diminished. I said it before you guys put it in chat, by the way. What's going on, Arjan? Hope you're doing well. The Vulcans were never colonizers? Really? Yeah, they were to a degree. They went out of their way to take over planets just to spy on other powers. By the way, I hate the term colonizer. It is a racist term. What's up, Lore Reloaded? What about the Neutral Zone with DJ Grom? 11 years of Tuesday night shows and Star Trek Online. Okay. I had no idea that was a thing. Was I supposed to know that? Is this just a way of low-key trying to get people to watch your stuff? Are you trying to be like... You say 11 years, but your last thing was 7 months ago, I guess? Hold on, is that you? Yeah, it's you. And that was Rust. Alright. Alright, DJ. Here we go. Everybody, DJ wanted to put his channel out there. DJ said, hey, what about my channel? So let's take a look. What about his channel? This is either going to be good for you, DJ Grom, or not so good for you. Let's find out. Let's see if your work is up to the task. Shan't we? If at any point you play copyright music, I will ban you. All right, here we go. Hope to God you don't play copyright music. All right, here we go. Here we go. Are we ready for DJ Grom? Here we go. Up in the house. We're already looking at sexualized females. Don't know what's going to be.
My guts! Alright. So, let me get close to you. I really want you to turn up the speaker for this. I really want you to...
That would be copyrighted music. You will be banned.
Okay, Teresa, so I know you females don't know much about history, but at one time, it was a day and age known as the Wild West. We're gonna say 1870s.
Okay. Let's go 227. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, we're still talking to the same woman. Okay.
Oh, he takes us to it. He starts drinking it.
All right. Okay. Maybe.
I can't believe you drank the whole thing. I told you.
10 out of 10 would subscribe. Nailed it. My Twitch do the Christmas song. Okay. You probably won't be able to share it. If you want to, DJ Grom, send your Twitch to james@lorereloaded.com. Take a look. P-Wing helping the channel, single-handedly keeping my kids in school. Well, not single-handedly. Majority helping put there. The Klingons remind me of the Irish or the Scottish. They love drinking, fighting, singing, and telling stories. Also, in the Soviet Union, the radio listens to you. That's true. I guess the Klingons were brought to heel by the Federation and now are lapdogs, so I could see them being Scottish. I guess that makes sense. Nailed it, P-Wing. Yeah, send it to me. I mean, we'll take a look at it. Streamers should deplatform Twitch. What? Why? Maybe I've answered this before, but what do I think of their planning to do for Season 2 of Star Trek Picard? I've talked about that before. I have to see. The breaking of time, like, I don't know. The breaking of time seems weird. DJ Grom at Twitch. It's the Neutral Zone subspace with DJ Grom. All right, guys. All right, listen. Look here and listen, okay? Whoa, Jesus Christ. All right, so maybe we got it wrong. Okay, maybe that one wasn't the best. So let's... Are you Gromulan? Is that you? Yeah, that's the same one. All right, so let's go to a video. We're going to do no videos found. Maybe because it's subspace radio? Is that what it is? Twitch? I don't understand Twitch.
Look at it.
Oh my God, that's so loud. All right. Are you guys ready? Here's what I need you to do. The official station is subspace. So we're going to listen to this. This is a 30-second clip from Subspace, the Neutral Zone. You guys get to vote. So 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Let's see how we do right here. Here we go. I'm a little scared. All right, here we go. Here we go. We got dancing women. All right.
Amorous, you're stinking up the place. How come move? I'm frozen. I'm not kidding. Oh no! We crashed the zone. How many did we get? No, don't tell me we didn't crash it. We crashed it. Someone stop blowing out the smoke bombs. All right? We got too many people in the zone because we're awesome. That's the great part. But you people just crashed the zone. I can't. Look it up.
So, like, are the women always there? Like, do you bring, like, the women with you? Because that would be... I could see that being a little funny. I could see that being a little fun. Do you, like, are they, like, an aesthetic? I honestly would have to see more of it. I'm giving you a hard time, DJ Grom, but I'd have to see more. Brutal. Brutal. Sean kissing any female character? Speaking of copyright infringement, do I know the lyrics to the Toss theme song? I don't. I heard they were there. Oh, you know the funny thing talking about Gene Roddenberry and how much of a sleaze he is. Do you know why Toss has a DJ Grom? Tell me if the women actually come with you. Like, are you able to make them through Star Trek Online or? But the reason why Toss has lyrics, he had the song made and then he added lyrics to it so he didn't have to continue to pay the guy who made the original song. You want to talk about Roddenberry being a sleaze. Now it's getting quiet. Those women had player names over their head. So, like, as a part of the cult, do you have, like, 3 players that come with you and dance and stuff? Or... Because it looked like they were similar characters, so I didn't know if maybe that was, like, a thing. Like, there are other players. My favorite Toss is the extra music. Sure. No, let's... Hey. Look, I'm giving Grom a hard time because he came here and knock, who's there? Lore who? Twitch? No, get out. Yeah. I'm giving Grom a hard time just because people come on and be like, hey, look at my channel. But let's be kind. I'm assuming they're not alt accounts. I doubt they are. But I didn't know if there were people who went along with you. Might have been his away team or other players. Cool. I'm going to have to be ending this soon. What do you guys want to... anything else you guys want to talk about? Ask a Professional YouTuber by Steve Shives how to be a successful critic. Okay. With my Riker beard, have I sat down properly on the chair? I can't do that. No, I'd love an official review. I have tens of fans. Not as popular. I have tens of fans. All right, you got me with that one. I mean, if you like... So here's my thing when it comes to fans, because you're the one... You brought up fans. If you enjoy what you do, and there are people who come and enjoy what you do, numbers don't matter all that much. You know? I don't... Numbers aren't as big a deal as people think. There's no evidence that Grom has used alts, so let's not go there. I don't think that's good faith. Yuuzhan Vong versus the Federation. Okay. Why wouldn't, not to speak to Grom, but wouldn't Star Trek Online, wouldn't their system catch that? Because if you're connecting from the same computer onto different accounts, wouldn't it realize that? I don't understand. Which Trek movie would have been better as an episode or two-parter? Any TNG movie, except for First Contact. I do it as a hobby. I spend more than I'll earn doing this. For most people. I mean, you never know, Sci-Fi Nation. You do pretty good stuff, Sci-Fi Nation. What game was I playing last time? Star Trek Bridge Commander. Sci-Fi Nation. When did you change... I'm subscribed to you. When did you change your thing? Your icon? Sci-Fi Shorts Baby Yoda. You know what, Matthew? You know what, Good Star? I want you to just talk. I want you to say another thing. Do I think they're going to introduce programmable map? I mean, they had for everything else. What game is it, DJ Grum? When am I making the refit Oberth? When I get $1 million, I guess? Maybe. What was I about to say? I was about to tell you guys something, but I'm pretty fucking tired. I don't know what I was about to say. What was I about to say? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby Yoda is a soulless marketing shot. But I can't help it. I love Baby Yoda. I love Baby Yoda and all of his Baby Yoda-ness. By the way, just so you guys know, next Saturday will be the beginning of... I'm not excited to see Picard Season 2 because I think they're liars, but I hope it's going to be good. Next Saturday, we'll start Star Trek Adventures. It'll be at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it'll have Fancy Lads, Venom Geek Media, Cute Fuzzy Weasel, and Starfleet Boy. Really excited about that. I do need sleep. That is true, Nicole. Why haven't they shown any Gorn ships? Because nobody likes the Gorn. I'm not excited about Season Picard 2 because they lie a lot. Do I think it'll be more action and better storytelling? I think that if Discovery Season 3 is any example, Picard Season 2 is going to be pretty good. It's going to be miles better than Season 1. I think. But I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to make them a part of, to make them a Dominion, to make Starfleet a Dominion puppet. I don't think they'll do it. But oh man, I'd be so happy about that, I'll be honest. I think that'd be good storytelling. Do I think that the higher dimension reality for thought could be used by Starfleet one day? It is the episode when Enterprise gets thrown a billion light years away. Maybe. I guess. Picard is absolute trash. I think it's a lot better than Discovery Season 1 and Season 2, but I still don't, think of it. I was disappointed by the Riker Troy episode of Picard. Why were you disappointed in it? What disappointed you? Should Janeway have had Voyager outfitted with a cloaking device at that point? Wasn't it illegal for Federation ships to have cloaks? I don't know. I think that we can't be sure of what was and what wasn't in that timeline. It's possible that she wouldn't have had access to a cloaking device, though, and that's why she didn't get it. You just didn't like it because... Oh, okay. I wasn't impressed with their daughter. Their kid, I wasn't impressed with her all that much. But overall, it was alright. Think we'll ever see the Dominion again on a show anytime soon? For some reason, and this may be changing, but for some reason, they really, really, really don't like DS9. Like, they are staying the hell away from that. How about a return of the parasitic beings that ate worms? Hell yeah! Maybe they're the ones in charge. Maybe that's the place not taken, that they're in control of them. I think if Voyager had a cloak, it would have sent the wrong message. What message? What message would it have sent? Hell yeah! Apparently there's going to be another Doctor Who. That's, fascinating, I guess. Spore drive is a disruption of the mycelium network. Stamets proved this. Okay. Voyager was still a Federation ship, even if it was lost in the Delta Quadrant. If the Romulans found out Federation officers developed and built a cloaking device, they would have complained about it. Are these the same Romulans that attempted to steal a goddamn warship in the Alpha Quadrant while the Dominion War was going bad? Or is that what you're talking about? When three birds of prey attempted to steal a literal Starfleet warship, and they're worried about the Federation making cloaking devices? If I could do a Wrath of Khan style Part 2 movie but use TNG, which episode would I use? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. My understanding is they might bring back the Doctor. Hey, they still would have complained, just try to get an edge over a future negotiation. Yeah, they'd do that. Hey, the Romulans can spin it any way they want. Damn politicians. The only reason why I accept that there was no major fallout from that is that the Romulans probably said that it was a rogue faction. Even though it's 3 Deridex ships, which are massively overpowered, and there's no way the government would let 3 Deridex ships get taken by rogue elements. But Starfleet is already losing a battle. They need the Romulans to come in on their side. They can't afford another war, and so they just accepted. They were like, okay, sure, that's what happened. Don't do it again. Spore drive does hurt the mycelium network. But apparently they fixed that or forgot about it. I don't know. I'm actually excited that my kids can watch a show, because my kids can't watch any of the new Star Trek shows. They just can't right now. And so I'm excited that I can actually watch something with them. But I don't know much about it until I see it. The Voyager image is portrayed by Robert Picardo. Star Trek Picard. Coincidence? I think not. Maybe the rogue faction was the Zhat Vash. Probably not. I hate the Zhat Vash. I hate the creation of the Zhat Vash. I hate their mere existence. It's a really bad writing, in my opinion. There's too many plot holes with them. Even Lower Decks is more teenage material. Lower Decks is not a kid's show at all. I remember watching Star Trek with a mom growing up. I have many fond childhood memories of TNG. Shame kids can't have the same on New Trek. Yeah. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Look at that beautiful, beautiful hair. So good. So good. I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded.